Mr Mickel, what went so wrong for Labor?
Oh, these things happen over a term. I think what needed was an honest review after the last election, because the last election masked the narrowness of the Labor win last time. It made a whole lot of formerly fairly safe seats very marginal. On top of that, the privatisation issue, regardless of the merits of it, people felt they'd been conned, deceived, and we should have explained that better. The Premier never recovered from that, only recovered slightly during the floods. But as the floodwaters went away, so did the Premier's personal approval rating. The feeling I got today in Logan was this: that people reacted badly to the negative campaign. They like a positive campaign, but they take a really dim view when you go after someone's relatives. They don't regard that as the Labor way.
Who has to take responsibility for what's happened in this election?
The Premier chose the ministers. She decided the policies. She decides the strategy. Now, the Premier is accountable and must be held accountable. In many ways, the electorate is holding the Premier accountable for not holding ministers accountable.
So that you feel that this is an indictment on Anna Bligh herself? It
has been her government. During the election campaign, because of the presidential nature of it, she was the only one you saw. She has to take that responsibility for it. She had a right given to her by the Labor Party caucus to select anybody to the ministry. She did that. The policies were hers, the strategies were hers. Therefore, the result and the accountability for the result must rest with her, and she should stand down from the leadership tonight so that the Labor Party can start building that painful task of rebuilding. This result, let's not crack it over. In terms of seats, it's the worst result ever. In terms of votes, it is as bad as the Labor Party split of 1957.
Anna Bligh is one of only a few Labor MPs left, but you say she shouldn't lead in opposition. She should make way for somebody else.
We have to put the Bligh legacy behind us, and that has to be done tonight. And somebody else needs to take on the task of leading the Labor Party.
How many years will Labor be in opposition?
That will depend. Sometimes electoral cycles can turn around quite quickly. If you go back to the federal election of '96, which is a wipeout for Labor, by 1998, at a federal level, Labor was able to win a majority of the votes in Australia. So it'll very much depend on how quickly the Labor Party can rebuild. Now, that rebuilding process and the forward thinking must start tonight.
It's going to be pretty painful.
Well, personally, as someone who's been a member of the Labor Party for 30 years, it's pained me tonight to see so many colleagues with so much ability lose their careers. I think Abe Lincoln got it right. I'm too old to cry, but it hurts too much to laugh.
John Mickel, you're retiring, but I know you will be there for that first sitting of Parliament. Thanks very much.
I'll be there the day before.
Thanks very much for speaking with us tonight.
Thanks so much, Jess.